When pain caused by menstrual cramps is so great, we sometimes wish that we don't have to menstruate at all. Well, there are instances where we do not menstruate. What causes us to stop menstruating? Recall from your knowledge of the menstrual cycle. When the ovum is fertilized and an embryo is formed, the lining of the uterus wall will continue to thicken to prepare for the growing embryo. Therefore, there will be no menstruation. The lining of the uterus wall will not break down any longer. Instead, the woman will enter a state of pregnancy where the embryo will develop into a fetus until it is born. In this unit, you are going to learn a sperm will have to fuse with an ovum. Reproduction is an interesting process. The ovum. In humans is an interesting process. The female reproductive system is like a maze to the sperms. After the penis ejaculates the sperms into the vagina, the sperms have to make their way by swimming up the female reproductive system towards the ovum. Only then can fertilization occur. It is a long and winding journey, and competition is great. Over 300 to 500 million sperms are ejaculated by the penis into the vagina at one time. But only one sperm will be able to fertilize the ovum. Let's trace the journey of the sperm to the ovum in the female reproductive system. Fertilization takes place in the body of a woman. Watch the following animation and draw arrows on your activity sheet to represent the journey of the sperm towards the ovum. During sexual intercourse, the male ejaculates semen that contains millions of sperms into the vagina. From the vagina, the sperms will swim through the cervix into the uterus. They continue to swim towards the fallopian tube. During the long journey, some of the sperms will die, while others will reach the fallopian tube. If an ovum is present in the fallopian tube, the sperms will attach themselves to the ovum. Only one sperm can penetrate the ovum. Once the sperm enters the ovum, the tail breaks off and the nucleus of the sperm fuses with the nucleus of the ovum. This is called fertilization. Trace the parts of the female reproductive system where the sperms have to go through before reaching the ovum. Drag and drop the answers into the boxes provided. After fertilization takes place, a zygote is formed. The zygote undergoes cell division as it moves down the fallopian tube towards the uterus. In the uterus, the zygote implants itself to the thick lining of the uterus wall. This process is known as implantation. Now, the zygote is called an embryo. The embryo then sinks into the thick lining of the uterus and continues growing. Tell the story of the race to fertilize. Where does fertilization take place? Plant and the blanks. Compare your answers with this. An ovum in the fallopian tube. First, sperms are ejaculated into the vagina through sexual intercourse. The sperms will swim through the cervix into the uterus and up into the fallopian tube where the ovum is. The sperms will surround the ovum. Only one sperm will be able to penetrate the ovum, and the tail breaks off after penetration. When that happens, the membrane of the ovum will thicken to prevent other sperms from entering. Fertilization occurs and a zygote is formed. The embryo will be implanted in the thick lining of the uterus. In space, an astronaut has to live inside the stable environment of the space capsule. He gets his food, air, and water from inside the capsule. The fetus stays inside a mother's womb to grow. How is the fetus similar to the astronaut in outer space? The fetus gets the nutrients from inside the mother's womb. The womb also provides a stable environment for the fetus to grow. A fetus growing inside a woman's womb is protected and has the oxygen and food to survive and grow. Let's see what really happens inside the woman's womb from the moment the ovum is fertilized. As you know, the fertilized ovum, the zygote, travels from the fallopian tube into the uterus. Look at the zygote again. It divides into 2 cells, then 4 cells, then 8 cells, and so on, until it becomes a ball of cells before reaching the uterus. This ball of cells is known as an embryo. The embryo reaches the uterus and sinks into the thick lining of the uterus. The embryo continues growing by getting its nutrients from the placenta. About 8 weeks after fertilization, the embryo will complete developing all the organs and has a complete body shape. This is called a fetus. The fetus gets food and oxygen through the placenta. It also gets rid of waste through the placenta. An umbilical cord joins the fetus to the placenta. The blood of the fetus does not mix with the blood of the mother. This will provide a stable environment for the fetus to grow. Notice that when a woman is pregnant, her womb will grow. This is because the stages of pregnancy relates to the development and growth of the zygote, embryo, and fetus inside her. Let's see how pregnancy is related to the growth of the zygote, embryo, and fetus. Pregnancy lasts for about 38 to 40 weeks, or approximately 9 months. This duration is divided into 3 periods called trimesters. Click on each trimester to see how the fetus grows at every stage. The first trimester refers to the first 3 months of pregnancy. It is at the beginning of this stage that the embryo implants itself in the uterus lining. The embryo develops features like the head, eyes, mouth, fingers, and toes. Then, the embryo develops into a fetus with internal organs like the lungs, stomach, and heart. The brain also starts to develop. The second trimester refers to the period from the 4th to the 6th month of pregnancy. The fetus develops a heartbeat and begins to move. It is at this stage when the mother will start to feel her baby moving. The fetus continues to grow in length and weight. Its features become more prominent. The second trimester refers to the period from the 4th to the 6th month of pregnancy. The fetus develops a heartbeat and begins to move. It is at this stage when the mother will start to feel her baby moving. The fetus continues to grow in length and weight. Its features become more prominent. The third trimester refers to the last 3 months of pregnancy. At this stage, the fetus readies itself for birth. The fetus will start to turn with its head facing the direction of the cervix. Normally, when the fetus weighs about 2 to 3 kilograms and measures about 50 centimeters in length, it will be ready for birth. After the period of pregnancy, when the fetus is fully developed, the baby will be born. The baby is pushed out through the vagina. The placenta and the umbilical cord are discharged after birth. Drag and drop the various stages of the development of what attaches itself to the lining of to be. The zygote divides rapidly to become a ball of cells, that is, the embryo. The embryo will develop into a fetus, which has the complete human body shape by the 8th week. The entire process from fertilization to the baby being born takes around 38 to 40 weeks. Everybody needs a balanced diet to keep healthy, but different people need different kinds of diet. What attaches? Everybody needs a balanced diet to keep healthy, but different people need different kinds of diet to suit their special needs. For example, you need to eat more kinds of food that will help you grow and give you energy. Your grandparents, on the other hand, do not need food to grow. They need to eat more kinds of food that keep them healthy. Look at the chart shown here. Compare the daily requirements of a pregnant woman and a non-pregnant woman. Why does a pregnant woman need more protein, iron, calcium, and vitamins C and D? Discuss with your friends. A fetus grows by taking nutrients from its mother. Sometimes the mother herself will have a lack of nutrients because the nutrients have been taken by her fetus. This affects the mother's health. Therefore, the mother needs extra nutrients for herself and for her fetus. She needs to keep herself healthy and also to help her fetus grow. The fetus needs to build new cells in order to grow. The mother should eat more protein. The fetus needs to develop red blood cells for a healthy circulatory system. The mother should eat more food containing iron. The fetus needs to build up its bones and teeth. The mother needs to eat more calcium and vitamin D. Click on the box beside the food that is good for a pregnant woman. Your box beside the food that is good for yes, this is good for yes, this is good for a pregnant woman. Yes, this is good for a yes, this is good for yes, this is good yes, this is good for a pregnant woman. Yes, this is good for a pregnant woman. No, this is not. No, this is not good for a pregnant. Look at the general food pyramid. We know that a pregnant woman needs something a little different. In your activity sheet, build a food pyramid that is suitable for the pregnant woman based on the information you hear now. Dairy products, fish, meat, and beans are most important to a pregnant woman. Dairy products are rich in calcium. These food help the fetus to develop strong bones and teeth. Fish, meat, and beans are rich in protein. They help make new cells for growth. This is very important. Next, fruits and leafy vegetables like kailan and spinach can supply lots of iron for the development of blood. Then, wholemeal bread, cereals, brown rice or pasta is a source of carbohydrate that can supply energy to the pregnant woman. Candy and sweets also provide energy but have little other nutritional value. Tea and beverages like coffee and soft drinks that contain caffeine do not provide nutritional value at all. Click on Check Answer to see what the food pyramid for a pregnant woman looks like. It is advisable for a pregnant woman not to smoke. When a mother smokes, her unborn baby indirectly smokes also. Poisons such as carbon monoxide and nicotine from the cigarettes can get into the placenta. These poisons keep the fetus from getting the food and oxygen needed for growth. This baby will be small-sized and underweight. Many women are aware that drinking a lot of alcohol can cause birth defects. In fact, even drinking very little alcohol during pregnancy is dangerous to the fetus. When a pregnant woman drinks, alcohol passes quickly through the placenta to the fetus. This may restrict the mental and physical development of the fetus. Fetus exposed to dangerous drugs and medication may be born with serious health problems. They are likely to be born premature and smaller in size than usual. You are going to prepare a meal for a pregnant mother. Get into groups. Plan the menu. What dishes will you prepare for her? Consider the nutritional value of the dishes. Click Hint. Make sure whatever you plan tastes yummy too. Fill in the blanks. Key the correct. Compare your answer with this. Did you get the answers right? Fill in the blanks. Compare your answer with this. The fetus depends on the mother to provide the food necessary for the proper development of the body. The mother needs to eat proteins, carbohydrates, minerals, iron and calcium, vitamins, fruits, and vegetables. The mother must eat enough for both herself and the growing fetus. It has been proven medically that illegal drugs like cocaine and ecstasy pills, unprescribed drugs, smoking, and alcohol can harm the fetus, usually through the placenta. It may cause premature births and, in some cases, long-term defects in the babies. Where on the diagram does each of the following take place? Where on the diagram does each click on one of the questions? What is the process of fertilization in humans? Fertilization is the fusion of a sperm and an ovum in the fallopian tube. Click on one of the questions to see the answer. Where is the embryo implanted? The embryo will be implanted in the thick lining of the uterus. Click on one of the questions. How does a zygote develop into an embryo and a fetus until birth? The zygote divides rapidly to become a ball of cells, the embryo. The embryo will develop into a fetus which has the complete human body shape by the 8th week. The fetus will grow in the uterus until it is ready to be born. This takes around 38 to 40 weeks. Click on one of the questions. Why is nutritious food important to the health of a mother and fetus during pregnancy? The fetus depends on the mother to provide the food necessary for its proper development in the womb. Pregnant women should eat food rich in proteins, carbohydrates, minerals such as iron and calcium, and vitamins. The mother must eat enough for both herself and the growing fetus. Click on one of the. Why is it important that pregnant women must avoid drugs, cigarettes, and alcohol? It has been proven medically that illegal drugs like cocaine and ecstasy pills, unprescribed drugs, smoking, and alcohol can harm the fetus, usually through the placenta. It may cause premature births and, in some cases, long-term defects in the babies. Click on one of the questions. Normally, one fetus develops in the uterus at a time. If two develop, then the result is twins. The photograph shows identical twins. Identical twins look very much alike. Which of the diagrams, A or B, represents how identical twins are formed and why? Most pregnant women feel like eating specific types of food. Sometimes a pregnant woman might feel like eating something that she normally doesn't like. Why do you think pregnant women have such cravings?